Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're enjoying your books. The book today I'm going to review is called People and Means by Nancy Johnson. It came out last year in 2024 or 2025. I have to double check that because I know it's a fairly recent. Came out in 2025. So I'm recording this in 2026, and so that's why I said last year. Anyway, so I'll give you the blurb on the flap, and then I will give you my review and thoughts. Two women, two pivotal moments, one dream for justice and equality. In the fall of 1959, Frida Gilroy arrives on the campus of Fisk University full of hope, carrying a suitcase and the voice of her father telling her she's part of a family legacy of greatness. Soon the ugliness of the Jim Crow South intrudes, and she's thrust into a movement for social change. Frida is reluctant to get involved, torn between a soon-to-be doctor her parents approve of and an audacious young man willing to risk it in the name of justice. Frida finds herself caught between two worlds and two loves, and must decide how much she's willing to sacrifice for the advancement of her people. I should note Fisk University is an HBCU, so historically black college, and it's located in Nashville, Tennessee. In 1992 Chicago, Frida's daughter Tulip is an ambitious public relations professional on track for an exciting career if workplace politics and racial microaggressions don't get in her way. But with the ruling in the Rodney King trial weighing heavily on her, Tulip feels called to action. When she makes an irreversible professional misstep as she seeks to uplift her community, she must decide, just like her mother had 3 decades earlier, if the cause is worth losing everything she's worked so hard to achieve. Insightful, evocative, and richly imagined, with stories of hidden history, People Means is an emotional tour de force that explores how secrets, betrayals, and the expectations of our families and communities can shape the trajectory of our lives and our place in history. I give this a 4 out of 5. It started out a bit slow, as most books do, I find. I know they don't start with a bang. They never do. I still wish they could start with a bang, the books I read, which really bugs me. But I really liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5, which is really, really quite interesting. I found I really liked it. It was really a good book. I read it for an online book club that I'm a part of, and I just found it really interesting. I mean, I knew all about that stuff. I mean, I've read that series March by John Lewis, and John Lewis does figure in the book. They call him their friend John. But you see it from these are people who have money, you know. These people have, well, I guess not inherited wealth, but, you know, they have some wealth. And they have some money behind them, and I really quite enjoyed it. I knew about the activism, and I kind of like the parallel. You know, like there's the 1950s or 60s girl, and there's the late 1980s, early 1990s type of aesthetic. And I like the cover. The cover is very bright, very beautiful. I like that too, because so many times you get these very dour books, I'm sorry to say. But I really like the color, and I really like the story. There was a really good interview that I listened to about this book. I hopefully will remember to post that, and if I have remembered, it'll be down in the description. And as always, remember that my links to social media are in there. So links to my Goodreads account, to my Storygraph. I'm trying to remember what's on there. And let's see, which is sort of like Instagram, and sort of Instagram for bookish people. because it's books. That's all it is books. Yeah, it's a really good book. I really liked it. I really got invested in the story, in both their stories. And yeah, I just found it really interesting. I found it a really fascinating book. And yeah, I liked it. I think this is a really good blurb from Jean Kwok. Nancy Johnson's People Mean spins a compelling narrative that explores the courage of a Black mother and daughter as they navigate the tumultuous waters of societal change. Beautifully written, propulsive, and poignant, this novel is a meditation on love and resilience. Another blurb talks about how she has a knack for layering the complexities of class and culture while shining a light on a little piece of history with sound details, vivid imagery, and the indomitable spirit of women strong enough to answer a higher calling even when it means risking it all. And talks about a delight. And another blurb talks about how it's a poignant story of a mother and a daughter who in their youth are reluctantly pulled into the struggle for equal rights and equitable justice as hard but necessary questions about whether and how each of us should take action to right the wrongs. It brings a compassionate, fresh, nuanced, and important perspective to fiction that centers the Black American experience. Yeah, and I agree with all of these. And I like to say like it's this timeless story, but it's also timely, and especially in this age of where we have, we're living in the aftermath of George Floyd and such. And I think she even talks about how she got the inspiration from the summer of 2020 when, due to the firestorm of George Floyd's death, and then when Representative John Lewis, who's mentioned in this book, also died 2 months later. She says, as I contemplated, and this isn't a note for the author, as I contemplated this so-called racial reckoning in America and watched a documentary about the life of Lewis, I imagined him as a young college student of only 19 years of age. How did he find the courage to lead those sit-ins for racial justice at segregated lunch counters in Nashville and stare down rabid racists while also studying, dating, and going through the typical rites passage as a young man? And it was interesting. She said she also talked to Fisk University students who were at Fisk at the time during the late 50s and 60s. And said that they found themselves at the epicenter of a movement. They told me, to the author, that everyone recognized those days as a watershed moment in the country, whether they participated in activism or not. Many joined the fight for equality, while others had family back home telling them the risk was too high, the sacrifice too great, that their focus should instead be on studying hard and making something of themselves. It's a really interesting book, and you find a lot of activism. And if you're interested in the history of activism and taking it on a fictional perspective, and I think you more and more will see these types of books, I think you will see more of this type of thing. So that was People of Means by Nancy Johnson. This is her sophomore book. Really good sophomore book. Usually a sophomore book is really bad. Sometimes. Can be. But yeah, I really quite enjoyed this one. And I hope you'll pick it up. Whether it be through through the library like I did, or through a bookstore. Anyways, talk to you later, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.